Hello, good evening, and welcome to, should I say, the last but one episode of Sports Ultras for 2024. It could be the last, though, depending on our programming. And so we're going to assume that it's our final one, and we'll be looking back at the year 2024. What a year it's been. So much to talk about if we were to review the year. There's a lot of different sports that we can probably touch on, but the Black Stars will be top of the list. There's also the Black Queens, and then if you're looking at just this weekend, there is the Ghana Premier League to also talk about. Can we finally see Heart and Folk and Asante Kotoko battle at the top of the league once again? It's been a weekend of a Jollof Derby because there's Ghana versus Nigeria in men's football, and then Ghana versus Nigeria in women's football. We'll be getting updates on that as well as what the results do mean. And then the almighty Premier League, Liverpool look to be running away with the title. A very big win, important one away at Tottenham Hotspur after Chelsea dropped points earlier today. Then Barcelona also struggling to win in Spain. We'll touch on that. And also briefly review the year 2024, who did well and who probably can improve in 2025. You're still here on 3FM. My name is Oreku Ampofo and it's Sports Ultras. We'll be getting straight into the show. My guest today, Billy Shen, there's Akosu Eje, and then there's Joel Bote. Later we'll be joined by Augustine when we specifically talk about the Ghana Premier League, because we know that Augustine loves it. He eats and breathes the Ghana Premier League. Welcome, guys. How are you? How's your weekend? And how's your year been generally?
Oh, the year. The year, as a Ghanaian, it's been a lot of problems upon problems.
So nothing to write home about.
Oh, Black Stars cast, Black Queens about to cast. Everywhere is casting. It's not nice.
Touch wood. It's not casting.
Charlie, no, boxing self cast. Everything cast.
Akosia, how about you? How's your weekend? How's the year been for you?
Weekend busy, year some way. If I want to talk about the year when it comes to work and sports, I mean, it's been an incredible year personally for me. I mean, we're in Ivory Coast together, so we take the fact that we were probably one of the few, two of the few Ghanaians who stayed until the end of the tournament. I mean, yes, so that was a big win for me. I worked with the production team of the African Games when it was hosted here. I had the opportunity to also interview 2 Super Bowl winners, one Ghanaian and one Black American when they came to Ghana. And we did the Labrom interview.
Yeah.
So that one too, another tick for us. I mean, and then to cap off my year interviewing a player I always wanted to interview, I mean from January, but I never got the opportunity because even in the mix zone, you would want to talk to players when maybe they are happy or they've won a game,
less pressure,
scored a goal, less pressure. The less pressure they have on themselves, that's when they give you a lot in the mix zone, and I never could get that until just last week, and that's just a pentland. So it's just like a full cycle moment for me. An interview I was chasing from January, getting it in December to just cap off the whole year. So the year has been good. I mean, when you want to talk about career-wise and sports, but I mean, some way.
But what's most important is that you personally had a good year. Bill, you also had a very brilliant year.
Well. Very good year.
Award-winning journalist.
Has he added it to his bio yet?
Oh, haven't you seen it?
You know, there was this joke when we were growing up where a young journalist trying to break into this industry. And you know, there was this joke that one of our seniors always used to pass, that you know, some of his colleagues will win one award and then immediately they announce the award, they change their bio, award-winning
quick. But yeah, I mean,
which is fair.
Yeah, it's fair. But I mean,
one is enough.
Yeah, but I mean, on the basis of a personal journey throughout the year, I think it's been magnificent for me. From that's Emerging Journalist of the Year, that's a GSE Awards, to of course, AIP has been fifth in the world for one of the stories that I put in.
Should have been top 3.
Yeah, maybe. But we'll see this year. And also GGA Awards, of course, winning an award over there. And of course, I'm also hoping to keep going. I mean, getting chances to have my first international trip, being on News 360, hosting a number of shows. I think it's been like I just flew basically this year, and it's. I think I give thanks to God for that.
Why not give thanks to God?
Yeah, give thanks to God.
To my mother, to my dad,
and of course to everybody that has supported me, from Joy, from Haptel, even from here as well. I mean.
For a second, I thought
giving speeches.
For a second, I thought he was going to mention names. I was about to say, "Hey, bro, don't start."
Don't start.
You finish.
Don't start.
But Joe, no pressure. No pressure. No pressure. Forget what they've said. How has your year been, Joe?
Truthfully, it's been an interesting year for me. It's there are a lot of ups and a lot of downs.
Yeah.
I was in the space with you guys a few months ago. I remember going to the AFCON with Ajwa, Akosia, and Oreku, and now I'm on my own. Now
he's a semi-retired journalist.
It's semi-retired, but at least I'm in the entrepreneurial space and still within sports, but more sports tourism. So I think I've learned a lot from the industry, and also I'm learning a lot personally. I'm glad that I joined this career earlier to understand it and understand life. It taught me a lot.
Yes, I mean, guys, I know it might sound a bit strange to you, but usually we talk about other things. But just for today, it's good to hear, how the people that you hear from are motivated, how things are going, how life is, and what their aspirations and goals are, and how they basically feel about the year. So, if you tuned in earlier, that's just a bit of wrap on the personal level for some of our pundits that have passed through the show as well. Not everyone is here. The likes of Efsin, Augustine are not here. So maybe when they come later, they would have the opportunity to do so. We'll start off with the Black Galaxies, and they played against Nigeria earlier today. 0-0 ended. They'll be happy they didn't concede, but the question is, would they have been more optimal if they managed to get at least a draw, to at least get a win here at home before going to Nigeria for the second leg, which is next week? Our colleague Mutala Yakubu was at the stadium where he witnessed the match live, and he joins us on Sports Ultras. Mutala, good evening. It's an honor to have you. 0-0 between the two sides. Who do you think goes out as the biggest winner from this result?
Well, not too much of a good evening, as you initially said, because we're hoping that the Black Galaxy will secure a victory before they travel to Nigeria for the second leg. Clearly, judging from the two press conferences that we had after the game, you can see that the Nigerian fraternity are more satisfied with the results, whereas the Ghanaian contingent are not too confident with what would happen in Nigeria. They are disappointed, especially with Didi Dramani saying that he thinks that the side should have grabbed the win, and that will put them in a better position going into the second leg in Nigeria, because he knows that it can be very awkward playing in Nigeria. So, I mean, they are disappointed, but all hope is not lost. Where we spoke to the midfielder Hafiz, he says that the players have already psyched themselves, and they are prepared for such a situation. So they would go to Nigeria and ensure that they win that game.
But from what you saw in the 90 minutes, do you have enough confidence that the Black Galaxies can travel to Nigeria and get an unlikely away victory?
Bill, I will be honest with you. In the first 45 minutes, I think that my hope extinguished. But when under 20 star, that is Jerry Efriye, came on, he brought some glimmer of hope, because his movement up front was able to open up the Nigerian defense, who on the day I think were very resolute, defended well. They were very, very compact, and they were one of the reasons why we could not create clear-cut chances. But from what I have seen, the Black Galaxies will need to take a new approach. They will need to go with a different tactics, because in the first half we were a bit lackadaisical. Our passing was not that swift. We were a bit slow in our transition, and that didn't help us. So Didi Dramani will need to change a lot about the team if they are going to Nigeria to get a positive result.
Well, thank you very much, Mutala, for joining us this evening. We're looking forward to seeing you much later. And that was Mutala Yakubu there joining us on the phone lines to talk about the Black Galaxies and then their Nigerian counterpart. Remember that this is a playoff. Whoever wins it goes straight into the CHAN. Ghana's record at the CHAN has been quite abysmal recently, which I don't think is surprising given the standard of our league. We've struggled off the pitch with sponsorship and corruption scandals. And then you're looking on the pitch, apart from Dreams FC, who went on a miraculous run, and I'll take that as an outlier. If you're looking at the past 5, 6, 7 years, we've not had any consistency in the inter-club competitions for CAF. None of our teams consistently qualify and reach the group stage. In fact, when Mediaman reached the CAF Champions League group stage, I think it was the first time in about 8 years or so. And there was also Dreams FC reaching the group stages before they did. I think Asante Kotoko had done so 3-4 years before. But we're basically not consistent. And so our performances at the CHAN is not surprising. And my question to you, Bill, is that we often hear we have good talent, in our Ghana Premier League, and they should be promoted to the national team. Do you feel that with the quality that we've seen in the league, they should be doing better when they are assembled and they come together as the Black Galaxy? So what we're seeing is just a true reflection.
I mean, to be honest, we've had a lot of discussions on players not staying as long as possible in the Ghana Premier League. The best of talents that we see year on year eventually leave the scene and then go abroad to, feature for another club. Abdul Aziz Issa was in the Ghana Premier League, is with Barcelona B. There's this former Dreams FC captain, Abdul Jalilu, who's gone to Rwanda as well. There's even the former Asante Kotoko midfielder, Richmond Lamte, who was at the AFCON with the Black Stars, also going to Rwanda. So the best available talents each year, we see them leaving. And then the next set, they are good, but I don't think they are at the level that we used to see before. I mean, back in about 2-3 seasons ago, we saw Yawano light up the Ghana Premier League, scoring goals for fun, right? He's no more even a Ghanaian. He's basically a Togolese now. Yeah. You see, so he even moved to Egypt to basically see greener pastures. Yeah. And that has been the case for a lot of our stars. If they do well here, they don't take time. I mean, we saw Kwame Opoku Akotoko. After half a season, he was gone to Algeria. And so if consistently these things happen, we would get a team that, yes, it's good to some extent. Yes, there's some quality, but not at the kind of level that you expect to challenge for major competitions. Yes, Razak Simpson is good. I mean, he featured for the Black Stars recently. Yes, there's Albert Amwa, who is scoring goals for Asante Kotoko. But, I mean, to be honest, I've seen better at Kotoko. I saw Mbella tear up the league. Just recently, I saw Mbella. I saw Mukwala tear up the league, right? Even though they are not basically Ghanaians, but we've seen better strikers, if we are being honest. And that is the theme. We've seen better players who are no longer in the league anymore. And so don't be surprised if they go to a CHAN and they don't go as far as they should. Even Barney at some point was a superstar in this league, and he left.
I was just about to bring this issue up.
Yeah, he was a superstar in this league, and he left. And so this is a consistent theme that if it's not solved, right, we would constantly see the Black Galaxies specifically not performing as well as they should. And we would also have more difficulty to make a case for someone to be in the Black Stars. Barnier was, for example, was a Hearts for some time. He matured to a kind of player that people were clamoring for him to be in the Black Stars. and that worked. We saw Dan Lad, we clamored for Dan Lad to at some point be in the Black Stars. That also worked. Even him, he's missing. He's gone somewhere. We don't even know where he is.
Yeah.
So these kind of cases, as they continue to happen, don't expect some magic somewhere. Because we are seeing good players. Benjamin Asari in goal, great. But I would be personally surprised in a good way if the Black Gala is disqualified to the CHAN.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be similar to what we're seeing with the national team, Akosia? Because I think CHAN started 2009. And the first 3 editions, we got to the final twice. I don't think we won.
Yeah.
We missed out on both. And then, I don't know, we went away from the competition and then came back to 2023 with Barnier Dems, Dan Lad, and we got knocked out in the quarterfinals by Niger. So if we don't qualify now, what does that really say about our league and the standard of football in Ghana?
Well, for one thing that I know is that when we start new tournaments, Ghana will be able to play so well in the first 2 editions, especially based on the number of teams that play. Because let's go back in time to when we were winning the AFCON. How many countries were playing at the time?
This matter.
When we talk about even the African Women's Champions League, the first time Hazakes went in there, they basically played a tournament that had no money. And they went all the way to the finals. Ampem Dakwan did great the last time, and now we can't even get our teams to qualify when they are actually given money. So one thing about us is, when tournaments start, we'll be able to say, footballing country, yes, we went and we did so well. So next time we'll be able to do an amazing job. At the end of the day, it goes down to what you're doing now, what you're producing, and the last time, as we said, it was when we were playing against like Niger, Madagascar, and those players were playing so well. And the conversation is, even though they don't have a good league out there, their players are really the Nigerians who are doing well are actually from their country, and so it's easier for them to say, maybe we put our league on hold, we're calling our best players to camp to get them ready to play in this particular championship or however they want it to be. But even in the Ghana Premier League, for some time now, even when we have a Ghanaian who is doing so well, there's always another player from another country who is also doing very well in our league. Because we can talk about Mukwala, who from Uganda did amazing with Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Then we can talk about another player who was also with Kotoko, but he was Mbella from Cameroon, who also did so well with the team. In recent times, probably we are mentioning Barnier or maybe Dan Lad because they were able to move into the national team. It goes down to how we've done everything football wrong. It's just like, how have we been able to get to this state where we understand the basics? We had coaches from our country going to other countries to teach them how to play football with what they learned in this country. And now they are even doing better than us because they stuck to the blueprint. They stuck to whatever was working for them. Have we done the same thing? Absolutely not. Because the last time when former Olympics coach, he took the team to the last edition of the CHAN.
Anawaka?
Yes. We saw our players who weren't able to even run on the kind of turfs they were playing. They were slipping, and why are players slipping? Like, why can't they control the ball? Because if you're watching professional footballers play, there are some basic things that even if you can't play like myself, you wouldn't want to see a player not being able to control certain passes. And if it's frustrating for me, I can imagine how that would be frustrating for people who have either played or who think that they can play better than these players. It goes down to how we have done a lot of wrong things in our football. So we are just experiencing the benefits of whatever seed we have sown for a very long time. And for us to be able to perform at these tournaments, whether it's the CHAN, whether it's the African Cup of Nations, whatever it is that we are playing, we just, maybe at this point, whatever tree we planted, we should be able to put the whole tree down including the routes, and maybe pray that the administration would understand that we need to plant better seeds, including training our players well, and then having a good system in place so that if we know that if our players are earning, say, from 5K upwards, they will not go to some island somewhere where they don't know anybody, because the only reason they are going there is to be able to feed their families back at home. If they are able to stay here and feed their families, we know that the best that we have, because How is the only Ghana Premier League player who went to our AFCON, now playing in Rwanda. When football is not the biggest sport in Rwanda, it's not the most competitive sport in Rwanda. It tells us like a lot about where we are, and it's not as if he's old for us to say, oh, he's going there to invest, they are going to make him into some franchise player. No, that's not what is happening. He's just going there as another player to go and play there. And these are the players we would need playing in our channel, playing in our African Cup of Nations, our senior national team. And it's just sad to see this. Unfortunately, playing against Nigeria and we couldn't win. It just takes me back to the World Cup qualifiers for Qatar, where we had to win against Nigeria and not... Yes, we always love to say that, well, Nigeria is our home ground, so when we go there, Abuja will be able to beat them. But really, are the Nigerians, because they have had a very good league, and some of their main coaches in their league are also assisting the main Super Eagles. And so it means that it's easier for them to even put all these players together and know who to come in. Like 3-4 of their coaches are already there, so they know how to line their players up to get the best of them. As Bill said, I would also be pleasantly surprised if the Black Galaxies go through.
Yeah, because I mean, once you, I'll come to you. Once you move it to your opponent's home ground here, you never know what happens. But Joe, I want you to touch on the bigger picture. If you're even going beyond Ghana. So, I mean, the Chan has been problematic. A country like South Africa, who even during the AFCON they can start a whole team of 10 players from one team alone in their country. So technically, SA should have been favorites going into this one, but they opted out because they said it's outside the FIFA calendar. So if you realized, some of our players are playing the league and camping and going back and forth. So they withdrew from the competition. I fear that we're not seeing the best countries compete. One, because of that. Then two, because of the zonal qualification. We saw that with the women's AFCON, and later they had to scrap it. But basically, I think only 2 from Zone B, West Africa, that's where Ghana is, would go out of the 7 teams. And so essentially, only one of Ghana and Nigeria will go. And so you realize you go to a tournament, there's no Ivory Coast, there's no Ghana, there's no Cameroon, and you're seeing some Mozambique and some other countries. It doesn't bring the best of Africa together. And I don't know whether that defeats the purpose. But what do you think about the whole draw process and this tournament falling outside the FIFA calendar?
I think I completely agree with you, and this is one of the reasons why even FIFA were fighting with the African governing body of football on even the African Cup of Nations, because truthfully, if you want to see the best, you have to position it in a time where everyone can see the best. And if you are drawing up or scheduling a qualifier, you don't want to limit the number of teams that can bring you revenue. So if you're going to talk about a Nigeria and a Ghana, your biggest game shouldn't be the qualifier. It should actually be in the tournament. So there's a whole flaw to that process, and I think they should rework it. If you remember, when the World Cup qualifiers back in the day, I think in the 2010s and earlier, the process there was also difficult for Africans. We're seeing less of the bigger nations get inside, and a lot of competitiveness being in the qualifiers. Yes, it's fun. You want to see the best nations make it to the World Cup, but now that the tournament is opening up, we're seeing FIFA generate revenues in billions, in unimaginable amounts that even they are shocked, because the sport is a global sport. And so as a continent, if you really, really want to make the most out of what we have, especially local talent and a export them to the world, we have to position our calendar such that it works for everyone. And so I completely agree with you. There's a lot of flaw in that process. Also, just to touch on some of the players that we see are some of the ones that we want to market. What can I even use as an example? It might not be the perfect example, but in 2018, if you remember, there's this guy who plays for Morocco. I think it's El Kabi. Yeah. Very excellent player. We saw him.
He was the top scorer in that competition.
His first shine was at the African Championship.
Then I think after that they called him for the World Cup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it is. We need to see that process because people would want to see you shine first when you're given the big platform. Then you progress. Then everyone is giving you a ladder to climb.
So are you trying to say that if the players in the Ghana Premier League don't perform, for instance, don't even qualify, none of them on merit should be making the Black Stars?
That's a very tricky way to put it. but what I would say is for you to buy or for you to have credit in the bank, you have to do it on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
So if I can say Konedu Yadom performs at the previous edition, what do you expect next? People will say, oh, he deserves an opportunity with the national team. It's because they've seen you do it for your nation on a particular stage. If you're talking about Banye may not have had the best competitions or best tournaments in the last African Championships because of the whole fiasco with the whole club issue and whatnot. But imagine Banye had taken that opportunity and then from there everyone was like, hey, Banye is one of the best. We have to force him into the World Cup lineups. That's what it leads to. It just buys you some credit for people to push for you to get that appearance in your nation's best team. And so it's very important that we schedule these tournaments properly.
Well, it's really, really important. We'll move from one tournament to the other and focus on women's football. Let's talk about the Black Queens, Bill. What's the update with Nora Hoopla?
I don't like this laugh.
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good.
No, it's not.
So just give us a summary. What's happening in the past 24 hours?
So this is what has been happening. Zambia's FA, the executive committee or executive council of their FA, had a meeting, and basically what they wanted to achieve was to have a sense of direction on their coaching in the Copper Queens, that's Zambia's women's national team. They weren't happy. They've not been happy with Mwapi for a while, and they basically want to sack him. And the decision on the candidate to replace Mwapi was a big, should I say, overwhelming favorite was Nora Hoopla. The overwhelming favorite for them was Nora Hoopla. And this is not the first time they've actually looked at her. Months before the 2024 Olympic Games, Ghana versus Zambia, two-legged tie. I mean, Zambia won, eventually qualifying. But I quite remember after the second leg, especially on Facebook, a lot of Zambians were basically saying that Nora should be our next coach. We are impressed with what we've seen. She's brilliant. She's, conjured a team that they didn't expect to actually give Zambia a test. Do it. She actually did it. Because Zambia were levels above Ghana. But it looked like Ghana were on par with Zambia in the two legs. And so already they had eyes on her. In fact, it was a very big basically rumor that she was going to go earlier. But I mean, she came back even before the friendly against Japan, sort of quieted that whole thing down. But now it is basically very likely that she's joining because they've already done interviews, as far as I know. They've interviewed her and some other candidates, but she's odds-on favorite for the job. Plus, her contract with the GFA right now is ending by the end of this month. So,
and that's risky.
and it doesn't look like she's going to sign with the GFA because of what's been happening. Now, in the last 24 hours, she basically released a nice statement on LinkedIn. Hey,
She LinkedIn professor.
Yeah.
Of all
Of all
places.
places.
Let me read a quote here. I have it. I believe, and I quote, I believe that success is built over continuous development, steps of the performance. The difference in the amount of games played in 2024 is huge between the participating teams of the WAFCON 2024, which will be held in July 2025, providing as national team for our players as many high-performance game exposures as possible is key. Because through these game experiences, we can work, learn, and grow as individual and team. Signed, Nora Hoopla.
Yeah, she provided a nice graph.
Give me the numbers because I saw Ghana were at the bottom, at the other side.
This
extreme
one.
So
one.
is the
really
number
like-
of is it number of total games or friendly
Yes,
games?
number of games.
Number of games. Okay, so what's it looking like?
Yes, so South Africa have played 15 games in 2024.
15 games.
15 games.
Akosia, are South Africa the best team in Africa right now?
Yes.
So you see the point she's trying to make.
Yeah.
It is not by chance, is it? And then who is second?
Second is Nigeria.
Is Nigeria the second best team in the world, right?
It's
In
even
Africa
arguable
right now.
between South Africa and Nigeria.
So
They're
it's
one of the
close
best.
between. So
Yeah.
what's the numbers between South Africa and Nigeria?
So South Africa have 15 games. Nigeria has 12 games.
Okay.
Zambia also have 12 games. We have Morocco with 11 games.
So if you're to name the best four African countries,
These are the
technically
names
these
they
basically.
mentioned.
Yeah, the best. You see the best. They are playing games.
and then let's skip to Ghana. So 15 between 15 and 12, right? That's
yeah.
the top four.
Yeah.
And then where's Ghana?
3 games.
The
Let me
whole
mention it. Let me
2024.
mention the 3 games.
1, 2, 3.
Let me mention the 3 games. Zambia home, Zambia away, Japan friendly. Finish. February,
And
July.
even the
And
Japan.
Zambia was a qualifier.
Yes.
And even the Japan friendly, I think they came to us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they were preparing
They were
for
preparing,
the
yes.
Olympic
Yeah.
Games.
So 1, 2, 3, done. Now, she vex. Me, I can see she vex, and I understand why she vex. Cause I've been following her LinkedIn for a while, and once in every while she makes a post. Relax. She makes a post of herself with some Ghanaian player abroad who she's trying to recruit for the Black Queens.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, right, right around Black Stars versus Niger, the final game, squad list was already done on Nora Hoopler's side. In fact, contacts were made with the passport process and all of that. They were being done. And what I understand is 6 new players were about to join the team.
From where?
Oh,
From the different
from
leagues
different
and
leagues.
all the visits.
yes, 6 players that like we've not seen them play, but they are from
Oh, okay.
they're from
Outside.
outside. And because she's basically been globetrotting, like meeting some particular players who are of
With her
Ghanaian-
fans or with the FA fans?
Oh, me, I don't
Really
know
with-
which one.
It will most likely be her personal fan.
Maybe.
Okay, if you can't
Yeah.
confirm, let's go on.
Yeah, maybe. But like in the last few months, I've been seeing her LinkedIn. Oh, she barely posts. So when she posts, you see her with some player B, and you'll be like, oh, we have a new toy coming. but
Yeah.
that new toy never happened. I mean,
Because there were no games.
so the understanding, right, is that the moment Niger beats Ghana, the unofficial communication I heard is Sports Minister vex.
So that affects the Black Queens.
It affects everybody, including the Black Queens.
So
In fact, especially the Black Queens.
So they were supposed to play against who and who in that
So
window?
they are booked. I
They were
believe there
booked
was,
to play some
2
games against
yeah.
Tunisia.
yeah, one was Tunisia. The other one I don't remember. If I get it, I'll tell you. But
It was a double leg.
Yeah, it was a
with
double-
Tunisia
yeah, it was a
playing in
double-
late
yeah.
November and then early December.
yeah, so there were 2 African countries that they had already had discussions with, and it was looking because bookings were made, and then Sports Minister vex. He won't release funds to help them do the. See, to me, right? If this was true that the sports minister actually vexed because of this whole thing, I would say he doesn't have vision. That's why he's one of the worst sports ministers we've ever had. Because Black Stars didn't qualify for AFCON. Granted, but the Black Queens have. So that's a different situation altogether. It's not like Omonyade. It's not like they're shy. No, they've actually been good in the last 2 years since Nora Hoopla took over. And so to basically deprive them of the opportunity to prepare for the 2024 Women's AFCON, which has current champions, South Africa, in the group. And they played 15 games in 2024.
They are 12 games sharper.
15 games, and you've played just 3.
They might have been
Come
12
on.
goals.
How do you expect them to perform? How? And the coach who has actually built you, made the team even more attractive to the extent that she can go and meet a player of Ghanaian descent outside and convince to come and join the team. Charlie, you set your project 5 years back.
Yeah.
Mission Volta is now 5 years back.
So the Mission Volta, if Nora really leaves, what happens to the team? Because there's an AFCON in just a few months, 6-7 months.
I'm just glad every other person has decided to taste the coffee or smell it. Because for a very long time, when it comes to women, when it comes to women football and we're talking, okay, they don't even have jerseys they are wearing. The place they are sleeping, mosquitoes are biting them, scorpions are biting them. It's like very weird stuff that we used to talk about with women football, but now when we are talking about it, it's actually about the game, because they have changed a lot of things around this current Black Queens team. And to even think that is the FA that pays Nora, that's one thing.
Yeah,
National teams payments should be coming from the ministry, but Nora's salaries and remuneration comes from
the FA.
Yeah. So she seeing everything that is going on, because remember, she's been with the Black Princesses for one World Cup before as the technical director, before she was given the role as the Black Queens coach.
Yeah.
So she's seen a lot in the FA setup and how Ghana we run our women football. Irrespective of that, she decides to still keep on, bring this whole vision, Volta and everything. If there's one thing this FA has done right in their administration, it's about how they've handled women football, whether it's not minus the Black Maidens, whether it's national football or the club level, they have done well. And so the only support that should have come from the ministry to them is also making sure that they made budgets available for all the friendlies that they lined. Because knowing when to play friendlies, that one, even today, we will know the FIFA breaks for women football when they can play their game. So countries are always aligning to play games. And it's because countries like Nigeria, Morocco, South Africa, they have made themselves available. So even if they are not the ones going to sponsor, even if it means that South Africa is traveling all the way to Jamaica to go and play them, and the Jamaicans are ready to foot the bill or whatever, they are going. And a lot of the time, that's what happens. But this time, it just something that I'm still trying to understand, because when it comes to our Black Stars at the minute, when they were not able to qualify for the World Cup, everything came down. We were calling for water, we were calling for fire, we were calling for wind, everything that could destroy and just tell us, okay, our Black Stars is dead. But then the Black Queens, at least they qualified. They have already been drawn in a group, which means that they would need to prepare for the tournament. Gone were the days where they would go for these tournaments and they were not going to get anything. Now there's money in women football. There'll be appearance fee. There'll be money as you progress in the competition. So you know that when you're investing any form of money in it, it's not going to be a bad debt. So how does the crimes of the Black Stars affect the Black Queens? When the Black Queens failed to qualify for the 2022 AFCON, it did not affect anything that the men did. And we don't even call for one. I know sometimes when you say these things, but you're a woman and you shouldn't say that. We don't even call for equality when it comes to these things, because we know the numbers and the money that comes in from every other place. We know the money that coming when it's AFCON. We know the money that comes in when it's the women. And it's just not right, because we have all known since January, February, that the Zambians were already interested in Nora, to the point where she even asked to be loaned to Zambia during the Olympic Games, because the Zambians wanted to take her
Really?
to the Olympic Games.
They must have been in it.
Yes. They wanted to take her, and which coach doesn't want to be there? I mean, if you have the opportunity to be an Olympic whatever coach. Maybe because the Zambians have gone to the tournament, they will have Barbara Banda scoring a hat trick and they will still not win the game. And so they are not very happy with their coach, Coach Mwepe. And they have loved Nora since the beginning of this year. The signs were written on the wall. We have seen this. And for the FA, I know there are lots of monies are coming in from women football. I don't know. I don't think that it was necessarily from the FA's end why she didn't extend the contract. Her contract is ending this December. I mean, we are a few days into it for the contract to elapse. We knew when she told us that she wanted to be loaned to Zambia during the Olympic Games that if we wanted to do anything drastic, that was when we had to do it. If it was from the ministry and the FA coming together to make sure that they pin her down, even if it meant that she would sign a contract, go to Zambia and go and achieve her Olympic dreams and then come back and then continue with us. But we failed to do all of these things. And before Nora, I am sure Oreku, you didn't have much interest in the Black Queens.
I know under Mesitego was awful. Things were very bad.
Exactly, because whenever we have had our own people coaching them, it's been very difficult. You see players go onto social media to bash the administration. But when Nora came, all of those things stopped because she made sure. And also, when the normalization people took over, I remember when they saw Lucy and then now the following water, when the first time they saw where the Black Queens were staying, at the Den Pram Pram, where scorpions were biting them and they literally had to carry buckets of water, climb the stairs and go and bath and all, and they were like, what's happening here? This can't be a place where people stay to play football. There's no form of entertainment. There's nothing. Even the football you are playing, there's no excitement in it. But then it only goes to say one thing. Maybe, not maybe. This administration they just don't care about anything women football. It's just it. Because if they cared, they know that these girls have worked so hard and qualified for the AFCON already. It's not as if they are now going to play. They have already qualified for it. Give them a budget of $40,000 to play a two-legged friendlies with Tunisia, and we still weren't able to get it for them. $40,000. $40,000 from the Ministry of Youth and Sports. $40,000 was going to be the amount of money we were going to give each Black Stars player if they had won that last group game in the AFCON. And we couldn't get that for the whole Black Queens team to prepare themselves. And we know that Coach Nora has been talking to them, giving them her plan. This is my plan. This is what I want to do with the team. I want them to play here. I want them to do this because this will give me this way. And we are seeing what other countries are doing. It's not as if the other countries are hiding what they are doing from us, so we are not seeing it. Yeah. We've seen it, we are seeing it, and we know that these are the best. And if we want to be part of the best, if we want the story of women football to be told, and we want the Black Queens to be part, this is what we are doing to them. And it's just sad that anytime it comes to the Black Queens, we all need to turn into advocacy journalists and just advocate, keep on advocating for them. If it's not their allowances that are not paid, it's the fact that one minister who is a man decides that I am angry that after all the investments we made in the Accra Sports Stadium, the Black Stars still couldn't qualify for the AFCON, and so no other tournament or no other national team gets to participate in any other thing football. I mean, who thinks like that? Do we now have to advocate for a woman to be maybe a deputy or the main person? But even when Sana Danswatu was there, I mean, so it just goes to say that we are not that interested when it comes to the cause of promoting women's football, and it's just unfortunate. But then if we know that we're not interested in that, maybe we should just turn into Cote d'Ivoire. Even though they were hosting the AFCON, they told their women, we don't have shinshin for you to go and start playing in qualifiers, for you to even qualify and tell us you need money to prepare. They did not let their team participate in the qualifiers at all, even though they got all that money they got from the AFCON. So it's just sad that all this is happening and everything we are hearing. And I'm glad Nora came out then to put something out So we know what is really happening. We know she's frustrated. We know she's doing so much investment and she's not getting anything in return for all the hard work she has put in. And if she indeed goes to Zambia, we know that she's going to do very well with them. They have loved her since January. I mean, I don't know what else could go wrong. The only thing that may go wrong is if they go to the tournament and they don't medal, which will be very, very unlikely.
Well,
My short of words.
my simple message to the FA ministry or whoever handles all of this whole mess, forget the Black Stars and how poor those AFCON tournament, not qualifying for the. I think if they allow Nora to go to Zambia, it would be the biggest indictment on this FA and ministry, especially the timing, because riddle, you had 2 coaches to keep or sack. Their contracts, one's contract was running away, one is new, but he failed to qualify for an AFCON, so he needed to assess them. Coach A has a win rate of 27.27%. Hasn't qualified for an AFCON for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah.
Lost Ababayara for the first time in 24 years. For the first time in Ghana's history, went through an entire AFCON qualifier without winning a game. That's Coach A. You have Coach B. Coach B has taken Ghana to the AFCON for the first time since 2019. Was a few minutes away from qualifying Ghana to the Olympic Games for the first time. Win rate of 67.67%. In 2023, she went 10 games winning run. Never seen that in a very, very long time. For a very long time, we saw the Accra Sports Stadium almost fill out for women.
For women's football, yeah.
And people were not just talking about beauty, they were actually talking about players playing and describing how they are controlling balls and passing balls.
It's upset. And between Coach A and Coach B, the FA have had 2 meetings on Coach A and have decided that they will not sack him. Because if they would have sacked, they would have sacked Coach A after 2 meetings, but they've not sacked him. It's Coach B that there's been no meeting about concerning her contract, and it's Coach B that is now leaving to Zambia. That when Ghana was playing women's football 10-20 years ago, when we were going to World Cup, where was Zambia in women's football? Zambia is poaching your coach. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means to the look? Which coach will even come to? They've belittled you. They've small broed you.
Yeah.
For them to come and take your coach when they said they will 6 months ago, and they've done it. When you've qualified for an AFCON, it's not like there's nothing to look forward to. They've done that, and yet FA ministry say that it's Coach A that they will keep. I leave it to you. But if this happens, as I said, this will be the biggest indictment. And you see. You think that women's football has improved, but look, it was one person. I can promise you that it was all Nora. You will bring someone else and we will see.
Yeah.
We will see whether the person will be able to fill that gap. But Augustine, I know you have a lot to say on women's football and the Black Queens and Nora. If she used to leave, where does you look at how the team fell in love, how Ghanaians fell in love. Where does the team even go from here? Which coach is even available?
Orego, don't be surprised if she leaves and then we go back to.
Don't say Messi.
Don't even there. Like, calm down. Don't even because ideally, if we are not able to keep her as our coach, it means that if you are to hire someone to do better than her, then you need to invest more. And if you are not even willing to do less than that to keep
invest in the tried and tested.
Yes.
How much more than you first?
Then the next one, who I'll say might be a matrama kwe, as they say, is just a waste of time and then resources. Because you see, Coach, apart from the games she was winning, you could see there was a path that she actually wanted to follow. She had a path. That's why she'll not be doing things for the Black Queens, but then she'll be outside Ghana talking to players, inviting players. You see this week, Coach Nora, Israel, Coach Nora, England, France. Why? But the Coach A, or whatever you cited, will be going and visiting injured players.
This guy is rude. I don't know if Coach A has become doctor. whether he's going to heal the knee of the players.
I don't understand. If your player is out, fine. Look at ways of replacing him. Now he's visiting the injured players and not
someone who cannot play for a year.
Who cannot play for a year.
Optics.
But that's fine. But if, just as you said, if Coach Nora should go and the 1 or 2 years that we've enjoyed women's football, me myself, there's a time I couldn't mention two Black Queens players' names, but due to Coach Nora's performance, we all fell in love with the team. The affinity for the team actually skyrocketed.
Yeah,
she leaves Oreku. I can promise you, I might not even go and watch them. Something happened against Zambia.
Yeah,
you know I'm into YouTube.
Yeah,
I streamed the game and I got over 30,000 views.
Wow.
30,000.
That was the interest that people had in the Black Queens.
And an amount of money I got.
So it's personal for you?
Yes, it's personal for me.
But already, I think this is a point that we are all failing to see. If the team is doing well, everybody benefits directly or indirectly.
Yeah.
For instance, the national team's social media platform blew up as well.
Yeah.
If you recall,
it's true. They're even getting better engagement than Black Stars.
The kind of content they were putting out as well. I mean, when your team is doing well, you definitely have great ideas of different content you want to post.
Yeah.
I'm sure the likes of Osei and those who handle the Black Stars team, even if they have some nice content, they can't even post them now because one qualifier and call AFCON now. Oh, this or that. Who is most likely to? They.
Exactly.
But for the Black Queens, it became so exciting for us to see and all. But if, as Nora is almost gone or gone now, then I'm just thinking who will even be best to fill in the position, because our best women's coach, couldn't even do so well with the Black Queens.
Who is that?
When Yusuf Basigi was in charge of the Black Queens, we didn't see this much success around him, even though he won the African Games with them before. I'm talking about the new wave that Nora has given this team. Unfortunately for Macy Tego, she also did not enjoy or have the success that Nora had. And so for Nora, who is practically even new to this whole space, doing this, and the FA doing this to us, and the FA and the ministry doing this to us, it's just heartbreaking.
You see, Oreko, just before you come in, we have to understand as well that sports is now a numbers game. So financial benefits come with, we've spoken about success, but there's something that comes with being attractive. Nora put an image to the team that made it attractive. What's next? Investors will come, sponsorships will come, revenue is coming to the team. That benefits not just the team itself, but it benefits the FA, it benefits the ministry. So if we are now going to look for someone new, does that mean that we are going to change how we are going to approach things? Because that we are not going to now have to invest to get the investment back. So it's now a long process going through which we could have saved with a simple contract we could have been handed a few months ago.
Anyways, let's move on. We've talked about Nora. Hopefully, there's someone on the FA or ministry listening. Ghanaians are not happy. They're not happy at all if Nora leaves. Let's talk about the Premier League. Bill, Manchester City.
I thought you meant Ghana Premier League.
Pep is finished.
Pep is what?
Who is finished?
These Arsenal fans, they are so excited.
But
would you sack Pep Guardiola if you were the Sheikh Mansour?
see, people have been sacked for less. But this is Pep, so it's a different matter. Charlie, you can't just get up and say a manager that has won 4 consecutive Premier League titles because you've lost about 6 and 7, we should sack you.
Are you sure it's 6 and 7?
Oh, it's 6 and 7. I believe 9 in 12.
Yeah, 9 in 12.
9 in 12, 6 and 7. I think something like that. But yeah, it's difficult to get up and say, Pep, you have to go because of the kind of success that he's given to Manchester City. I think, and I said it a week before, Manchester City's transfer moves in the past 2 years, I think they absolutely bottled it. I quite remember even Chigi said after winning the treble, everybody was basically confused as to what to do on the market. And this is what is showing from that. The main protagonists are now older. They are in their 30s. De Bruyne, Bernardo, even Kovacic is 30. These guys have experience. They've won it all. It's difficult to now motivate them. It's difficult for them to have their legs safe to basically deal with teams who are more heavy on transitions and all of that. And yeah, of course, Rodri's absence has been felt. He will definitely be missed. But I think it's basically what has been happening in the last 2 years that Manchester City failed to address. And this is what they are going to get from it. I mean, their defensive part of the team, most of them get injured. When they come back, they are not at the best shape possible. Kyle Walker has been a shadow of himself. I think they should have let him go to Bayern when he wanted to go to Bayern. They shouldn't have let Alvarez go. They should have had a proper backup for Rodri. All of these things, Manchester City haven't really addressed. And Pep Guardiola himself too, he's making some decisions that I think we should call into question. You have direct wingers in Doku and what's this guy's name from Girona? Savinho. But you don't start them as much as you should. You use a Grealish and a Foden who are technical but are not one-on-one demons. And so these guys would not take on a man and create a chance the way you want it to. They will try and play cute. And now a lot of teams have figured out that if I box the defense well and put some people in front and wait for the counter, we will destroy them because there's no Rodri to stop us.
That's true.
We will destroy them. And we saw Aston Villa do it with John Duran. Very nice counter. Beautiful one. So Pep Guardiola, right now, I think the season is done for him. Right? What can be done for Manchester City is to go into the transfer market, get younger players, also look at the academy and bring it. Because, see, in squad, to get a perfect squad, you need a percentage of youth, percentage of peak players, and a percentage of experience. I would go for a 30, 40, 30, right? 30% of the youth, 40% of peak, 30% of experience. And the experience shouldn't play as much minutes. But now it looks like it's skewed to basically about 45% of being experienced, close to 40% of being in peak, and just about 5-10% of youth. That is not balance. And so Manchester City have to fix that. And one way to fix that is the transfer market. They have to go in there, make the right signings, not just any signings, but the right ones, and then they can work towards next season. Because I think this season, they are not going to win the Premier League. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
They are not going to win it. In fact, they are going to face Everton next. Sean Dyche drew with Arsenal, has claimed a 4-0 win, has also drawn with Chelsea. Oh, Pep will claim some 1-0
You know, and I think that's where the problem comes in. It's not. I don't think it's such an easy solution because, you know, one part where people don't consider in football is that Manchester City, because of their constant dominance, had a psychological edge over teams.
Yeah.
And so teams were even defeated in the tunnel before they came.
Yeah.
So a lot of teams show them respect, don't come out. And you'd realize this season that slowly, I think the only good game they've had was against City.
Yeah.
Against West Ham, they went down. Against Brentford, they went down. They were winning some of these games. Against Fulham, they won 3-2.
Yeah.
They were winning, but you could tell that slowly teams were starting to become more confident against them. And the thing is that when you don't have your fear factor, and now teams are seeing that Aston Villa can do this and do it well. Everton, why should I come and sit back and not try and attack? Let me try. They look vulnerable. And so that fear factor is gone. And now City actually have to defend. That's something that they've not, maybe except the treble winning season, they've not actually been good at it because teams don't come out and attack that. So it's very difficult for Pep because how do you even get your fear factor back when you're not winning?
Yeah.
And I think teams will keep on coming out. I'll be very surprised if they even make top 4. And the reason why probably they might make top 4 is because of teams like Man United.
Yeah, of course, on my side.
Ruben Amorim. What is happening to your man, Amorim? After beating Pep Guardiola, and then you go on to lose Carabao today, Bournemouth.
Oracle, when he came, he said one thing. He said he knows that people don't believe in the players. And he, as a coach, he believes in them. And today, it is these same players who have let you down. Now they are saying they should sack all the players.
To be fair, Maurice said they will suffer.
Yeah,
so this is the suffering.
He said he will struggle.
Is this the suffering?
But then this suffering, if it will be long suffering. Like, because the system is there, the 3-4-3 is there, fine. Yeah. But then sometimes the components you need in this 3-4-3 system, the main and one of the most important components is your wing back. Yeah. Your left wing back and your right wing back. Dalo. And then who?
Today, Malaysia.
Come on. Oriku. Dalo and Malaysia. Hey, if Manchester United wants to compete in January, they just go in, sign. Do a sign at home. And if you are signing, you sign players who fit into the right positions, because now you can't trust Kobe Mainoo. You can't trust him because the Kobe Mainoo we saw last season is not the same Kobe Mainoo you are seeing now. Mason Mount, he's a dead player. He comes and he's gone. Yeah. Casemiro, you can't. No, the only active player, even playing in his own shadows currently, is Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
One disappointment from Ten Hag's time till now, I always say it's Marcus Rashford. You go to Liverpool. At one time when Mane, Firmino were going, they were all going, there was one man to hold the team. That was Mohamed Salah. You come to a team even like Tottenham Hotspur. When Harry Kane was going, there's a man like Son Heung-min. When things become difficult, he does things for them. If you come to Chelsea South, Chelsea, even when things are going bad, there's someone that even if they give him a penalty, he will score. He carries the team up high. But United, Rashford is one of the, or I'll say the most experienced player in this setup, and he has gotten to a point where I think because of the players he has played with and the kind of players and the manager he's playing with now, he feels in a way he's above or he should be in that superior level. But come on, the money you are taking, the performance you are giving, that's not tally. The man is not in the entertainment, man. If they want to fix that, Lenny, Euro, whatever, it won't help. If you are there to go in the market, one thing they also need is a striker. They signed Højlund, who is a youthful striker. Come on, and he had one good season or a 1.5 at Atlanta, and then they went in for Zexi, who was doing quite well for Bologna. And these two guys are all youth, they are inexperienced. And I wouldn't be surprised or I'll be disappointed if they go into the market again and sign someone who is inexperienced. Now, United needs someone who has experience. Like the time they went in for Ibrahimovic, you need that kind of striker who knows how to do his stuff. Because if you go in for another young, now I'm hearing Zesco, and if they come, they'll be like Zexi and the Højlund. Forget. The United team needs a complete change. Overall. Because
we'll see how their season goes. Yeah, we'll have to wrap up in a couple of minutes, but just two more questions. So maybe you guys can share 30 seconds each. Akosia, do you think Marcus Rashford's time at Man U is over? 3 matches, he's not been in the squad.
Marcus Rashford's time at Manchester United, really, I think for the past 2-3 seasons, he's always been on the chopping block because he had so much potential. Because when these England players are coming up and we see them flourish, you'd want to see them very consistent, and that's something that he hasn't had in the last 3 seasons at Manchester United. And maybe he should just leave and go to where he would flourish, because for a long time these players would think maybe that they should stay in the best league in the world. But if anything, Jude Bellingham has taught us you don't have to stay in England to flourish. You can go outside and then do well. But has he been able to come to that understanding that I don't have to be here, I don't have to be home to feel home, I can go anywhere, whether it's in the Bundesliga or the La Liga? Why do you want him to go to Saudi?
Rashford is too young for Saudi.
Why do you want him to go to Saudi?
He should go.
You know that
maybe it's just time for him to just psych his mind up. Just probably one season out, and he can come back and do well.
Well, we'll see how that goes for Rashford. But with the January transfer window coming around, we'll see whether he survives this storm yet again. He says he wants a new challenge. Amorim hasn't named him in the squad after that. Joel, just quite quickly, Chelsea, the draw with Everton, does it mean anything? Should we read any signs into it, or is it just a minor blip?
I think this was a pivotal game for Chelsea. They needed this win against Everton to kind of make a statement for the Premier League. But I'll still take the draw. It's better than a loss. 1 point is better than no point. However, if Chelsea really wants to understand where they are, I think these are games they should be focusing on. Games like Everton, making sure that they are able to get maximum points. If Chelsea had won, they would have gone top of the Premier League. Most Chelsea fans will say, we are not in the title race. Truthfully, we are not in the title race, but compete and see where you would end up. And that's why I was hoping that they would get far or win this game, but unfortunately they couldn't. Liverpool had the chance against Tottenham, and guess what they did? 6-3. That's what they do. When Chelsea have their games, they have to take it. And so that's all I say. I think they have the opportunity to compete with Liverpool, but let's see how far they go.
Chelsea is not in the title race. Why is it by force? Today, when Chelsea drew against Everton, I wasn't bothered. If you are not in the title race, why are you bothered about drop? I don't want to win every. You cannot win every game.
No, you cannot. But let me explain something.
Look, the truth is that Everton away has always been a difficult match for Chelsea.
Yeah, even with the weather conditions.
Yeah, look at where Chelsea is. We're almost halfway through the season. Who would have thought from last season to now? You have to learn how. There's no need to put unnecessary pressure on yourself. We're not in it. Look, just going half time, go through every pundit or every journalist's top 6 prediction and see how many people are Chelsea. Where we are, we appreciate it. Look, the pressure of a title race in England can make you crumble. I understand what Maresca is doing perfectly. Yeah. Look, you're not built in the mode of Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. I expect Arsenal to go past us. It will probably be between Liverpool and Arsenal. We don't have the capacity for that. It will drain you mentally, physically, and the media that are creating this war will kill you. That's what they've done to Arsenal in the past 2-3 seasons. Yeah. That they've not been able to see it off. So when Maresca says we're not in the title race, we're not in the title race. Top 4 is the goal, please. We just want to hear Champions League sound again at Stamford Bridge, please. Please. Anyways, that's how we're wrapping up for Sports Ultras today here on 3FM 92.7. I was joined by Bill, Augustine, Akosua, and then Joel as well. You can get some more sports updates on our social media handles at 3SportsGH, and then on 3news.com/sports. We'll be back again next time to look back at the year and then also just basically get ready for the year 2025. Quite a lot to look forward to.